I'm doing about it. One of the experiences is the Mandela effect. Changes in history that cannot be explained. You just went through the Monopoly Man with me. Your name is?
Kelsey.
You can make one up, Kelsey. It don't matter. They don't care. Richard and Kelsey. Richard didn't remember one. Kelsey remembered both. There's a lot of other things. Like that guy there on the wall, he died for me 2 times. I think I misspoke and said 3 times once, but Muhammad Ali died twice for me. Let me ask you this question. Did you ever hear Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis? Are they both alive?
Didn't Jerry Lewis just die, like, recently? I don't know.
Dean Martin's not alive? Jerry Lewis? I remember Jerry Lewis dying in the 90s, late 90s. He just died this morning.
I was like, I just saw something on the news.
Or yesterday, yeah. And I'm like, wait a second. I know for a fact this guy died. So, I mean, there was no way nobody was going to get around that. I remember Dean Martin crying that they never made up because they were in a big fight. I remember the whole bit. So,
What's the Mandela?
a lot of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in the late 80s. And he actually died and went on to become president and died again. So that's what that is.
Wow.
And then they caught on in like 2010, 2009, something like that. And they started to just call it the Mandela effect. Personally, I'm not real thrilled with the title, but it is a lot like Mandela, which changes and moves and changes and changes. So that's kind of interesting, I thought. But Mandela effect. Febreze is spelled differently than I recall it, then thousands of people recall it. I mean, thousands of people have these memories. And I got Berenstein. Spell the Berenstein Bears.
I mean, how about B-A-R? Well, I mean, is it the pun? B-A-R E-N-S-T-E-I-N.
Okay, the part I'm looking for is the Steen part. S-T-E-I-N?
Well, I think it's spelled like Stein.
Okay, S-T-I-E-N? I don't care. In this timeline, it's S-T-A-I-N, and it's always been S-T-A-I-N. The bell rang. I gotta go. Great talking to you guys, but I supposedly have people coming in tonight and tomorrow to watch the eclipse that have been affected by this, so you're welcome to stay around.
Can I get in on this?
Go, bud.
Mandela Effect Silver Dollar 2017.
Oh my God.
Butters.
The sun is brighter. I noticed that the day of the eclipse. Which way you going, buddy? I have to say whiter. Definitely white. Brighter. It's a nice, beautiful day out. 68 degrees. That's it. That's about as much as we're going to get now. And not really. We should have drove 5 hours north. It did not get here at all. When it leaves, it's going to leave the other way. Everybody's like, oh, it's because the Earth's spinning and all this. I'm like, eclipse selfie.
That's what I did.
So I've been distracting myself, except I've been distracting myself with things that I want to do, things that I want to experience. That's something else I wanted to talk about, but right now I think what I'd like to do is introduce everyone to Prince. This is Prince. Say hi. Hello, everybody. Flat. So that's one of them. I got 2. I don't know why I'm in airplane mode now. What you do? He's coming out. The other one's not coming out. Tentatively calling her Jiffy. But I don't know. It's like I named these cats before I got them. And then after I met them, spent some time with them. It's like, because he was going to be Nelson. But then I went right to Magic. Figaro. Oreo. I was trying to stay on Mandela effects, so he looks just like Figaro to me, but Prince kind of stuck. He looks at me, to me, Prince. Now the other one, I guess I could
get out of there, but already clawed up. Now I was gonna go with Jiffy, but I had a couple other names. That ain't nothing, and that wasn't even her fault. The dog, the dog came out of nowhere. It was like, so that's that. But I've been distracting myself because I feel what I wanted to talk about is I really feel like everything was fine as far as the outside world. Everything's just right where it needs to be. You know, it's fine because I ain't paying attention to anything, nothing. And then, I mean, I'm talking a good long month here where I've not been in contact with anything. People know not to talk to me about it. I walk away. I tell them I'm not being rude. I'm doing something and I don't want that in my perception at all. I don't even want to deal with it. Well, last night, somebody said my manager was telling somebody else about what's going on. I said, whoa, I don't even want to hear it. And I walked away. I said, and they weren't even going to tell it. And I walked away. And then just now they were downstairs talking about, well, everything that's going on in the world. And I'm like, oh, no, see, guys. And I walked away. And but I haven't had to do that. You know, and then I'm walking by the TV and I glance at it and I'm like, and all I see is Trump something protest. And I'm like, well, you know, whatever. It's, you know, I don't know. I'm shifting out of it. How many of you are listening to this and there's some war going on I don't know about? I mean, if it wasn't for governments, we would not have wars. There was 3 other things I came up with too off the top of my head talking with somebody about it. I'm like, oh, I need to write that stuff down. I can't even think about it. It's like, it wouldn't be a problem. There would not be problems like that on that escalated scale. So, anyway. So, you know, Prince, the black and white one, I'm sticking with Prince. I'd say tomorrow I'm making it official. Yet Magic was right there. Nelson was the name I was going to give him before I even met him. Now, Jiffy was the name I was going to give this other one before I met her, but to me, she's more of a Jasmine, a Fantasia. She's got like Siamese colors, but she's a short-haired cat that sheds a lot already, but it's and I was trying to stick towards Mandela effect themes. That's why I went with Prince. Magic would have worked with Magic Mirror, you know. But she, you know, and now I'm like, well, Prince and Princess would work. But Prince, I mean, I'm sure you get the Mandela effect reference there. You know, it was Celebrate for me. And I'm sure of that. You know, so that's a good one there. I thought about Ford for a name. This is a girl, so. And right now it's Jiffy, but I caught myself going, Jiffy, come here, Jeff. And I went, oh no, I can't do that. So, no, if it's going to be Jiffy, it's going to be Jiffy. But I don't know. Did you hear that? What I have heard is that since the eclipse, that in 40 days there will be many changes, especially for the United States. And I took that, you know, to a personal level and say, all right, next 40 days, let's keep a nice high vibration and work that. And no, I've had a couple of people state that about coming up for the eclipse. I'm glad it didn't. There wasn't total. There was no darkness here. It went 90%, and I kind of understand how it went by and all. If I would have known that's what it would have been, I would have drove 5 hours north to see a total eclipse. But I just didn't understand it, and that's fine. Nobody showed, and it's just as well. It was stood outside, looked through glasses to look at it. I think I have some footage of what I looked at through the camera, but I don't. I have no idea how that's going to come out or came out. But this time period now, what did they say? I don't even know what the dates are. The 21st from the eclipse till like September 23rd. September 23rd comes out every year, right? Or is it September 21st? No, it's the 23rd that comes out every year. And I think May as well. But it's the September shifts. Wake me up when September ends. I mean, I think it's significant. I think we got this coming up. And that's even without looking at all the fear-mongering horse crap, you know, because when something does happen, it's going to be like, look, we were right. I don't think it's going to cover it all the way, and the camera's not picking it up at all. Go. Give it to her. Long deliberation. See, my cat, what I was going to call Cinderella, you know, like I went magic for days and decided on this day I'll name it, and after I spent some time with him. And now this one here, I tried to spend time, but she disappears, and I mean, she is good. You know what I'm getting at. She disappears. I could not find her. I was in a panic. I'm like, how'd she get out the window? She must have left. I mean, that was my only... She was behind the bureau in a corner sitting there. I mean, the cat disappears. So I was thinking, oh, I might have to go Cheshire. Makes perfect sense, right? Got her up on the bed. We're playing. Listen, when she hides, she's the happiest cat in the world. Okay? I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see all this, but I got this stuff. None of this was mean, malevolent, none of it. It was all just me carrying her while a dog came by, or carrying him and while he plays, and he's rough. But yes, you're rough. I can't, you know. But he's out and about. She's still under the bed, but she's happy. As soon as she sees me, I can hear the purring from under the bed, and I go under there and I pet her for 10, 15 minutes and say, look, I'll come under every night and pet you, but eventually you got to come out, or else I'll end up getting another cat. But I've been calling her Ella. I'm getting no response. Fantasia. I'm sure there's some kind of Mandela effect in there somewhere, but I don't really see it. It's not a big one for me. Like, I like the Prince thing because that's a big one for me. But I've decided, and it has been talk about a Mandela effect with this movie, The Princess Bride. So I'm going to go with Buttercup. It makes more sense to me. To me, she's more of a Buttercup, a Jasmine, Fantasia, something to that effect. So, and I thought Princess, I'm sticking with the princess theme, royalty theme kind of. We all know the Blue Bloods are. So, I don't know. Was there a lot of sarcasm in this video? But Berenstain I wrote as a misspelled word. It once. Yeah, it's getting a little crowded around here. Figures. There we go. And every time I think of something, I think of something else, and I'm like, okay, we're a little bit much in here. I've had one person tell me that's right, and the other 3 or 4 people I've talked to said it was Olstein with an L. Wonder if I'll ever watch that. No, that's an empty box of Oreos for sure. I'm running out of room. Bernstein. We already been through this. Okay. So, click off. Yeah, the bird noises is for the cats.
Bernstein still. No. Add Berenstain to the dictionary. I can do that. It's a real word here, right?
Getting darker. I feel like it's getting darker.
You think so? The camera's still not picking up the moon, even though it's about a quarter of the way across it. But it's coming down. And when I look at the video from Wyoming, it's coming across, which almost proves we're on a ball. Or it's something else, I don't know. I can't say it proves anything.
Well, we would have to.
It doesn't prove we're on a ball, but to me it does make sense. I don't understand why the moon's coming down and 5 hours worth it's coming across.
South of us or something.
To see what it's doing there, to be able to...
And then, look up and see what it's doing in all directions.
Let me
From
see.
us, and then...
So now I gotta find somebody.
It smells pot out here the last couple of days,
Just the last couple of days. I really feel like it's the day after the eclipse. I really feel like there's something big's going to come of this. Whether it's a big mandala or something else, I don't know. And I've been getting 555 now. I was getting the 444s. Now I'm getting 555. Yes, it's me. I look like that guy on Star Wars, right? Wait.
There are blue apples. I didn't look deeper into it. I just saw title of a video talking about blue apples, and I looked up blue apple, and I found a site that sells blue apples.
Hey, Prince. All these people coming in telling me, Jerry Lewis wasn't dead. If you paid attention, you would know that, blah, blah, blah. Look, he was dead for me on my timeline. If you don't get that, you don't get that. He already died. And I'm absolutely sure of it. It's another 100%er for me. I'm surprised this isn't bigger. I'm surprised more people, this would be, I'd say Jerry Lewis to a lot of people when they say Jerry Lee Lewis, the musician. And I'm like, no, the comedian, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, he passed already, and we were talking about that. They were dead, and here he comes dying again. Look, if you really feel he was alive, he was. He did not die in the timeline you resided in. In my opinion, you were probably somewhere along the lines of a higher vibration where he survived. You lived with that as well. And, other people shifted from their timeline where he already died into the timeline you were in, where he didn't die, and they're all noticing him dying again. It's that simple. If you don't get that, because to me, there's a lot of people that see the Mandela effects and they're like, ooh, things changed. Nothing changed. All right? The Mandela effect book, everything's changing. Nothing's changing. But from your perspective, yeah, everything's changing. Stasha's not wrong. From your perspective, and that's what it's about. It's about your perspective. And, but nothing is really changing except for you. You're the one changing. That's a good backup for your book. Nothing is changing, Stasha. But
But my book's going. It's slow going, but it's going. I'm really liking how it's coming together. Uh, but what was that? So yeah, for me, Jerry Lewis was already dead, and he just died a couple days ago again. And you know, it's for the people that don't understand it. When a product changes, it's not changing. You've changed. You've shifted your consciousness into a timeline where that's the way it always was. Adidas was always spelled like that in this timeline. And it's funny because that saying that people say, there's a saying that goes with each letter to know how to spell it. I don't know what it is. I've heard people say it. I couldn't even guess. But there was two D's, ADD, IDAS for me. I mean, and it was. And lids, LIDDS. And people are telling me, wait, it was LIDZ. And now it's just LIDS. I know lids had two D's. My first band, Jetlag, had two G's. So when I saw lids, I was like, oh, cool. It was reminiscent about the old band. I mean, and this would have been in the 90s. The reminiscing. I mean, it didn't change. I did. And if you can understand that, and I understand why people might not be able to, because to a lot of people, physical reality is a real tangible thing. And I'm thinking, okay, tangible is what's not real. To get on that thought. Things are happening with the cats specifically that I remember. You know, I've had 4 days and 3 days. Yeah, 4 days and 3 days. I mean, specific things are happening that haven't happened before that I'm remembering as far as I'm going, as far as I'm willing to go with that right now. I mean, the wacky shit that I've said in these videos. And I'm remembering certain things that haven't happened yet or haven't happened. It's like as I'm doing it, it's like, I remember this. Or I'll see something happen. I'm like, I remember that. I mean, that's not how I'm saying it in my head, but that's how I'm feeling it. And that's all I'm willing to say in this.
The white one. But, I mean, I put like 12 layers with this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was just like, hey. I didn't know how sick it was because nobody would, like, have them around.
It's going to sound stupid to a lot of people. There's a list of 3, 6, 9 people that I didn't know were dead or vaguely may have heard something and just didn't put it together or didn't care. Or, I'm trying to think of what I was doing in 05, 04, because that's a couple of these are from there. Alan Thicke, didn't know he was dead. Farrah Fawcett, that's one that I'm like, I'm not sure if I remembered that she died or if I heard something or not. I think I may have. Dudley Moore, another one where I don't think I heard of it, but if I did, I must have not really cared, been into something else. Robert Palmer, Tammy Faye Baker or Messner or whatever her name was, I didn't know she was dead. Rick James, I know that's going to sound stupid to a lot of people. I didn't know he was dead. Marlon Brando, I didn't know he was dead. Peter Jennings, unless I'm mixing him up with another reporter, there was a reporter who made a report about a war that wasn't taking place. I thought it was Peter Jennings. The war wasn't taking place because, in my opinion, he shifted into one timeline, saw the war going on, reported it when he came back out of that timeline. And I believe they let him go or quietly let him go or maybe fired him. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they fired him after that. And I really thought it was Peter Jennings. But I didn't know he died in 05. And Paul Newman, I didn't know he died either. But you know what? I'll bet there's plenty of people out there that remember all those people dying. But it's like right now I'm not paying attention, so I wouldn't know. But back then, I may have seen something or known something. I don't know. Just and I'm going through that because I'm sitting here going, all right, let me go through a list of people that I'm looking up the old deaths, and because I'm thinking a lot of people wouldn't have really. Jerry Lewis, as far as I know, hasn't been in the public eye in years. But when I was younger, he was big, with the marathon he had every year, and him and Dean Martin fighting and getting back together and having that reunion, and he was a part of my life when I was a child and a teenager. And when he died years ago, I remember it. I mean, I'm not, even then I didn't believe in death, so it was like not a big deal to me. I mean, I'm like, oh, okay. But I did remember that because he was a part of my life in some timeline, one timeline or another, the one that I'm conscious of anyway. So, I just started going through other lists of people that I didn't even know were dead because I was thinking that. I mean, if there's people dying twice, then if you shift into a timeline where somebody that was dead in your old timeline and now they're not, you must be also shifting into a timeline where there's people that are dead that you thought were still alive. Makes sense, right?
The game.
Take it easy, Coach.
No, I mean it. He was the very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach.
Julian, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
I'm being real passionate about this Prince death thing. I have memories of talking about it. No, I don't. I have memories of talking with my buddy Don back in Philly. Can't remember, April, May 2016. And we were discussing the song. Never discussed him dying or anything like that. I can't, or at least I don't remember that. And I can't remember if it was in a context of where he died because, at some point I thought, all right, celebrity death, Mandela effects, connection. I mean, I was listening to Prince the other night when I was closing, and I have this memory of him dying. The Niagara Falls was lit up purple, but that was because of something with the Queen. It had nothing to do with Prince. At least I'm sure it did. But and I just like all that. To me, all that was 5-6 months ago, 7 months ago max. This year, and that's fading. I'm just saying this because I'm sitting here going, wow, is my memory that bad? Forget Mandela effects. At least I have some nice new shirts to wear. And I'm trying to think hard on this, and I have the memory of talking about the song with Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate this thing called life. And I mean, it just rolls right off the tongue. That's what it was. That's how I recall the song. And that's what we were discussing back then. And I don't think we were talking about did he die, because I think I would have made that connection, or at least in my own head. And I just feel like I was behind the bar, bartending, talking about, see, but I can't be sure. It's strange because it's like, all this time since I've been listening to him and naming the cat, and you know, that being a 100% Mandela effect for me, I'm just really surprised it's been 12 something months since Prince died. And I don't know. And I'm just go ahead and if this gets put up, this is just because I'm like, well, no. I mean, okay, so I misremembered. I mean, are you kidding me? You know, it's like it's fading too. I'll tell you right now. It's like the memory of him just recently dying is fading. It's, you know, at first for me it was 4 months. Now it's 7. I figured before I'm done this video it'll be 12. I mean, I don't get that. But it doesn't matter because, I mean, or maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Some of the other things are fading too. I was thinking about that the other day. I can't remember which one. The whole, you know, and it's like every time I repeat a story, I'm like, okay, you know, I don't mind adding things if I remember them as they go, but, you know, I go back on some of these videos and I'm like, it's not the way I remember it. I don't know why I said that. It's not that bad. It might be I just misspoke or said, you know, a different word or whatever, but no, no. The no meat, I feel good. Spiritually, psychically lifting the veil. I haven't noticed anything. Don't think I'll be going back to meat. The cigarettes I didn't even realize have really cut down. Like a pack every 3 days. And I didn't even really notice it. Just the way, just how I'm buying them. That's what I noticed. You know, I feel good, health-wise, but I've felt some changes, and I dare I say since the eclipse, mainly in my chest. Pain now, annoying more, and I would say more muscle or um, and finally get to introduce the other member here. And I've decided, since I spent and